Hello, this is Mr. H. I'm going to go over the arithmetic sequences recursive homework here. First, I want to go over exactly what does arithmetic sequence mean, and then I'll go over what recursive means. So first, arithmetic sequence. Okay, it's got two parts. Sequence just means a series of numbers. Okay, so let's say 15, 20, 25, 30. This is just a series of numbers. Okay, also called a sequence of numbers. Okay, so that's what a sequence is. What makes it arithmetic though? Okay, it's the fact that these are all separated by the same amount. They're all difference of 5. Okay, so here we'd say the D value is 5, and they have to be the same all the way across for it to be an arithmetic sequence. Okay, so this is the sequence here, and the fact that the difference is the same is what makes it an arithmetic sequence. Okay, now recursive. What does that mean? Okay, that basically means that in order to find this answer, I have to take my last answer, my previous answer here, and add 5 to it. Okay, nothing more than that. It seems very basic, right? There's just going to be a fancy way of writing it, but just remember as you're doing this, and all the new notation, that's all you're saying is that 30. Well, how do I get 30? Well, it's going to be 25 plus 5. Okay, so let me go ahead and apply that to number 1 right here. Um, Pizza Palace is having a special. If you order any large pizza for a regular price of $15, each additional pizza you order after that is only $5. Okay, now this right up here is actually number 1. Okay, this is the sequence because it started off with $15 and we went up $5 for every additional pizza. So if I got 2 pizza, my first pizza is 15. If I got 2 pizzas, it's 20. 3 pizzas is 25, and so on. So we needed to construct a recursive rule. Okay, so I remember what we're going to be doing is saying basically, okay, 30 or whatever the next one is, doesn't have to be this one, but the next one is going to be the previous answer plus 5. We know that rule applies no matter how many pizzas we order. You notice down here, it doesn't say there's like a limit, so we're talking in generalities here. That my next pizza cost will be whatever the previous cost is plus 5 more dollars. Okay, so two things we need to write down. What's the initial cost? Okay, initial cost is 15, and the way I'm going to write that is this. I'm going to say f of 1, that 1 stands for this one, the beginning. So think of f of 1 as the start or the beginning, okay, is going to be equal to 15, $15. Okay, so this is what I talked about with fancy notation. All this means is this is the beginning, the start. It has some similarities with y-intercept. It's not quite the same though. We'll talk about those differences later. Okay. Now, in general, what will the cost of the next pizza be? Okay. So f of n, that's going to be the next pizza. If you want to think of the n as next or new, okay, what's the new cost or the next pizza cost? Well, we already know 30 up here is going to cost what the last one cost, 25, plus 5 more. Okay. So the way we say the last one or the previous one, okay, if n is the next pizza, the one before that would be n minus 1. Okay. And then we have to add $5. So this right here, this f of n minus 1, is like the previous. So all we're doing is saying 30 is equal to 25, the previous, plus 5 more dollars. F of n, the next pizza cost, is going to equal the previous pizza cost plus 5 more dollars. So if you can get around that these new notations and just keep in mind what we're doing, that's as difficult as it gets. We just got to get used to the new notation. Okay, so let's do a few more and it will get easier. Okay, let's go down to number 3. Let's see here. So remember, we want to write down, before we go on, we want to write down where we're starting. We want to have two statements. Our starting statement, which is always f of 1, that doesn't change. Okay. And then we're going to have what our next statement will be. Think of it called the next statement, f of n, next. It's always going to be equal to, well, what the previous one is, plus some common difference. So here, Putt-Putt World charges $8 for the first round. So that's how much we're starting off with. So our start, f of 1, always use this. F of 1 is going to be 8. Okay. And now, $4 for each additional round, which means every new round, f of n, okay, it's going to cost however much the last one cost, the previous cost, plus $4 more. And so notice how between 1 and 3 we're using the same notation. So we have f of 1 for the starting, we have f of n for the next, and f of n minus 1 for the previous. Okay. You might be thinking, well, I'm not really doing anything different. I can just pull out where we're starting from and what the difference is and write this pretty fast. And if you come to that conclusion, then I think you have it. It's not too much more than that. Just know that these differences can be plus or minus. So we can be spending a little bit more on each one, or it can actually go down. So if you look at number 4, you can see here that they're giving away 500 posters, and they're giving away each day 20 posters. So that means it's going to be going down. So the only variation, I guess, between these is going to be, well, this might be positive if the cost is going up, but something like number 4 will be, this will be a negative number. It's going down by 20. So you'll have to read between the lines and infer, is this value getting bigger or getting smaller? And you'll know positive or negative. So number 4, we're starting off with 500 posters. So our start, okay, f of 1, our beginning day, day 1, we're going to have 500 posters. Okay. Okay. And the next day, or each day, we're going to have, well, however many posters we had left over on the previous day, f of n minus 1, that's the previous day, okay, minus 20 more. Okay. So it's kind of like saying today I'm going to have however many I had yesterday minus 20, because I'm going to give away 20 more. We'll have 20 less than whatever we had yesterday. Okay, maybe let's skip down just a few, maybe go to the back, try a few together here. And number 10. Now you notice a slight different language change here. Before they're telling you where you're starting and then how much the change is each time. Okay, when you get here you can tell that, well, they still kind of tell us where we're starting from, okay, but not really what the difference is. But they give us a series of numbers and we can figure out, well, what is the starting point and what is that difference. So here we have, let's just go ahead and list them. We have the starting, we'll just use the smallest number here. So our start at 72%. And so our next value is going to be whatever the previous value is, okay, and plus or minus how much. So let's look at these numbers that we are given, 72%, 76%, and 80%. And let's look for that difference. What is that difference? So 72, 76, and 80. So if you look, what's the difference between 72 and 76? You get 4. And what's the difference between 76 and 80? You get 4. Remember, these have to be the same number all the way through. Okay, so yeah, our difference is 4. So my new value is going to be my last value plus 4 more percent. And let's try, let's say number 13. Okay, Stacy and Julie go for weekly hikes in the summer. Their first hike is 2 miles long, so we're going to start off with 2 miles. Okay, so first week of summer, that's the 1 stands for, week 1, and it's 2 miles long. So as we go out through the summer, the next week, how many miles we do the next week will be however many miles we did the previous week plus 0.5 more miles, half a mile more. Okay, so a lot of notation here for all these problems, right? But just remember as you're going through these, try to read this as the start, or in this case, it's week 1 in this problem. Okay, so week 1, and that this is the new or next. Think of the F of n standing for new, okay, or next, and that this F of n minus 1 is the previous. If we keep these labels in mind, it makes a lot more sense. Yeah, the start, we started off with 2. And yeah, the next week it's going to be, well, whatever we did the previous week plus 0.5 more. And we'll look at, well, what can we really use this for tomorrow and Friday. Okay? So go ahead and finish the rest up. And if you don't finish it in class, then finish it for homework. Have a good day.